Hello again and welcome back to our discussion today on anti-aging. Let's go now to Bridget on line 5. Hello Bridget, you're on the line.
Yes. What is your opinion on the controversy between vitamin E higher than 200, milligrams or whatever, and the study out of McMaster University? And also, what are the problems for people who have had replacements, let's say artificial knees, hips, and all kinds of other internal fixation that's metal in their bodies? How long can they keep this in their body? If it can be removed, should it? What negative influences would it have on the body, and what could the person do?
Okay, first the vitamin E.
These are great questions, Bridget. Let's go to the second question first. This having all these prosthesis pieces in the body. I'm not an expert in this area. You'd have to talk to an orthopedic surgeon about the lifespan of those types of devices, and are there side effects associated with them. But people who require those things require them. I don't see any way around it. Your question addressing the vitamin E controversy that has been brought forth recently is a great question. I don't know how this got to be such front-page news, because there's really not even a story here. One study took a select number of studies that had been done in the past, and they looked to see if people that already had cancer or had very advanced cardiovascular disease, if they had been taking vitamin E supplements at specific dosages, if it helped their condition, made their condition worse, and there were none of the studies that they examined showed anything, to be honest with you. And then they excluded, and I don't know why they did this, a whole bunch of studies that showed people taking doses much higher than 400 IUs a day actually got a tremendous benefit. Let me give you an example. The Alzheimer's Cooperative Study, they took people with early stage Alzheimer's disease, gave them 2,000 international units of vitamin E to take every day versus the group that got the placebo, the dummy pill. They waited a number of years, and what they found was that the group given that high dose of vitamin E had a tremendous reduction in the progression of their Alzheimer's, and the group that got the placebo had the typical progression that you would expect to have. So they're saying these high doses of vitamin E may really be helpful for these Alzheimer's patients. Let's keep the study going. Those people on very high doses of vitamin E are not showing up now with a higher incidence of cancer and congestive heart failure. So, and there's a number of studies like that where vitamin E has been used in very high doses, and you don't have people showing up with these adverse side effects that are life-threatening with respect to cancer and heart disease. So these studies that have made the front page recently, including this, what's called the HOPE trial, this study where they've given people with very advanced vascular disease and diabetes 400 IUs of vitamin E a day to see if it could help them. By the time you have a diabetic state or you have advanced vascular disease, the truth is 400 IUs a day, in my opinion, is like a drop in the bucket. The people that have had good effects with vitamin E for those patients have used much higher dosages, 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams a day for intermittent claudication to help reverse angina conditions, to improve insulin activity in a diabetic and stop the progression of atherosclerosis leading to vascular disease. 400 IUs a day isn't going to do it. And so when they look at those, they say, well, statistically, not only, it didn't seem to help them, and there's some evidence maybe some of them actually ended up with more congestive heart failure. Well, if the person's starting to develop congestive heart failure and you don't give them coenzyme, they don't need vitamin E, they need coenzyme Q10 for that application. So the whole message here has been twisted around either by the media or by drug companies who are trying to twist it around to deter people from using natural interventions that could be very helpful to them. And it's very disappointing to me to see this manipulation of this information being used to scare the public, because that shouldn't be happening.
Now, before the break, I touched on how you dealt with the hormones in your book. So many people out there, so many women in particular, on hormone replacement therapy. What do you recommend, particularly at menopause, when the aging process is really starting to kick in, to perhaps even balance these hormones without having to go to
Here's
these
what we know
methods?
is highly successful. Before there was hormone replacement therapy, because it's a new thing, And all these women of this last 2 generations have been used as a big experiment. And we said now they show up with the Women's Health Initiative study and say, you know those hormones that we gave you? They were good because they helped to reduce risk of osteoporosis, and they were good because they reduced menopausal symptoms and made you feel better. But we're seeing a 26% increase in breast cancer, a 21% increase in heart attacks, and over a 40% increase in stroke because it's having these adverse effects. We don't think it's such a good idea anymore. So you say, well, then what is a good idea? Because women now spend 1/3 of their lives in the postmenopausal years. We're living longer. And so they want to have quality of life. The question is, what did we do before there was hormone replacement therapy? Doctors in this country and throughout the world, before there was hormone replacement therapy, recommended an herb known as black cohosh, which contains these estrogen lookalike compounds, enough to support the estrogen function of the body. But unlike hormone replacement therapy, it does not overstimulate breast tissue and lead to cancer and vascular disease. So in my book, I talk about the cocktail that I've used with patients over the years, and I tell other health professionals to use. It's a combination of black cohosh with soy extract and gamma-arosinol, all in one capsule. They can read about it. You say, what is gamma-arosinol? It's a natural ingredient found in rice bran oil that's actually a prescription drug in Japan because it's so effective at blocking menopausal symptoms. When you put those 3 things together into one formulation, one natural formulation, you get all the benefits without the risks of what some of the drugs have done to people over the years. Now, the truth is, some women need to be on hormone replacement therapy if they have a dramatic case or they've had their ovaries removed at a young age for whatever reason, a radical hysterectomy. I'm not saying that it's never appropriate. I'm saying, what can you do in the world of natural medicine that will help most people out there, most women out there? That combination is the way to go first.
Okay, well, let's go now to Jill before we go for a break on line 1. Hello, Jill, you're on the line.
Hi, my question is, I'm on a heavily restrictive diet due to multiple food allergies to things such as pork, tuna, and bananas and milk. I also eat a lot of poultry. Will that later in life help me live longer? Because I also include tomatoes in my diet too.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, Jill, you're in a unique situation, and because of the sensitivities that you have, you need the help of an individual therapist to really fine-tune your diet. So, my book would would help you understand what specific foods do to either promote your health or to detract your health from your health status. But then you would need someone to fine-tune those recommendations based on your individual needs because you have some sensitivities, and I'm sure you understand that. But eating chicken instead of beef, if you take the skin off and it's chicken breast, and you can get enough green vegetables and yellow and orange vegetables and fruits into your diet, you don't necessarily have to have bananas to be healthy, and you stay at your ideal weight, and you can exercise and take the supplements that I talk about, you can have a very healthy life. It sounds like you're doing better than most people, actually.
Great news for you, Jill. Thanks for calling in. Now we're going to go for a break, but when we come back, you talk about flaxseed, and you also talk about flaxseed oil. I want you to differentiate those, but then when we get back from the break, we'll deal with that. Stay tuned.
Let's get tough. CLR tough. CLR is #1 for a reason. It works. CLR's enhanced formula works 5 times faster, takes less effort, and cleans better than the competition. 5 times. CLR, a name you've trusted for over 20 years for cleaning your clogged or slow-running shower head, rust around the faucet, dissolving rust and calcium buildup in your dishwasher and washing machine. CLR will make your coffee maker run like it's new again. CLR is great for removing stains on vinyl siding, cement, and porcelain. Tough-acting enhanced formula CLR has natural ingredients and even more cleaning power. CLR, #1 for a reason. It works. And we guarantee it for your money back.
At participating Canadian Tire, Home Hardware and Building Centers, Zellers, Rona, Real Canadian Superstores, Shoppers Drug Mart, True Value Hardware VNS, Pro Hardware Ace, Co-op Stores, Sobeys Foodland, TSC Stores, Timber Mart, Heinz Zell's, and Home Depot.
Getting ready to clean the bathroom, Mom? Yep. Keep stretching.
Introducing the Mr. Clean Magic Reach, a new extendable cleaning tool that makes cleaning the bathroom less of a workout. It comes with a flexible head and 2 different cleaning pads. The scrubbing pad tackles showers and cleans tubs with ease. The mopping pad cleans counters, floors, and hard-to-reach areas. Why reach? Get Mr. Clean Magic Reach.
A mortgage shouldn't be forever. Too bad most banks don't think that way. Fact is, most mortgages are cleverly calculated to keep you paying as long as possible, starting when you apply. Banks offer you the highest rate they think they can get away with because to them, it's a game. And the higher the rate, the longer the mortgage. Want to pay off your mortgage faster? You can try, but beware of penalties and tight restrictions. Anything to keep those payments going. An ING Direct Unmortgage is exactly the opposite. Every feature of an unmortgage can help you end those payments as soon as you can. Think the best mortgage is no mortgage at all? Then you have to call 1-800-ING Direct and see if an unmortgage is right for you. A helpful mortgage specialist will quickly show you how an ING Direct Unmortgage can get you to the finish line sooner. Because the mortgage to brag about is the one you no longer have. Call 1-800-ING Direct. Unmortgage yourself. Save your money.
Hello again, and welcome back to our discussion today about anti-aging. We're going to go now to Mark on line 5. Hello, Mark, you're on the line.
Hi there. My question is regarding seizures. I've had 3 seizures in the past 6 years, and I was wondering if Dr. Meschino had any answers as far as is there any natural remedies that I could take or something that I can take to help in controlling my seizures.
You know, Mark, I have seen the odd thing over the years that stood out because I've had some friends and colleagues, you know, who have been epileptics or they've had seizure problems, and I've provided them with some literature to look at. I'd be happy to do the same for you if you would email me at our website. I'll send you some personal information on that I have seen that you might want to review. There are a few nutrients that may be beneficial. I just can't promise you that they're going to be, you know, life-changing. But if there's some research you should be aware of, I'll be happy to send that to you.
Okay, that sounds great.
Now, Mark, we're going to have up that website, and for all our viewers out there, a few times again with the time that we have left. And again, your book, Chapters. One of the places
the Meschino Optimal Living Program is available because it was released recently. It's in Chapters in Indigo right across the country. The Wrinkle-Free Zone, Your Guide to Perfect Skin in 30 Days. You may have to get it directly from Nutratherapeutics by calling the 800 number or going to the website and making inquiries.
Now, you tout flaxseed powder in your book.
Yes, I do,
as
both books.
As a great way to cleanse the system. I mean, you deal in your books with detoxification. You deal with the entire range of problems that people experience with aging. I mean, overall, the process begins rather young, but again, very, very detailed, comprehensive books, particularly the Optimal Living Program.
Well, what I'm saying in the book is that there's a certain diet I think you should follow here in North America that makes sense. There's exercise you should do. There are 3 lifelong supplements you should take. A high-potency multivitamin, I described that. The right essential fatty acids, we talked about that, what that capsule would look like. And the use of ground flaxseed, 2 tablespoons a day, lifelong, to keep your cholesterol down, improve function of the intestinal tract, and to help protect against reproductive organ cancers, breast cancer, uterine cancer, prostate cancer in men. Then after age 40, you have to introduce some anti-aging supplements because that's when your body is genetically programmed to undergo decline, decay, and degeneration. Nature now wants to get rid of you. It's assuming you've procreated, you've raised your kids to a certain point, they're soon going to be self-sufficient, you've served your purpose, nature's trying to get you off the planet. You say, I don't like that plan. If you don't like the plan, after age 40, you have to use coenzyme Q10, some glucosamine, some nutrients to protect your brain, more calcium for your bones. You have to have a strategic plan after the age of 40, as I lay it out in the book, that is going to give you much better insurance against the aging process and the development of life-threatening illnesses that are likely going to show up if you don't take these steps.
Well, we've got an army of aging population, of an aging population out there, so they're going to benefit. Hyaluronic acid you talk about as practically being a magic compound when it comes to anti-aging, particularly in relation to the skin.
I wish I had known about it when I was 20. So at this stage in life, you know, it's useful. And it can probably reverse skin aging by about 5 to 7 years. I've seen that now a lot, so that's pretty good. But that's part of the aging. After the age of 20, your skin makes less of this magic molecule called HA. It's high hyaluronic acid, but we just call it HA. If you put the right form of HA on your skin after the age of 20, doesn't matter when you start, that HA gets back in, and what does it do? It pulls water from the bloodstream and plumps the skin back up, filling in, certain lines and wrinkles and crow's feet.
Natural Botox.
And can prevent it from occurring in the first place, and can actually reverse some of the damage that's been done. And going forward, everybody should put that form of HA on their face. They want to look better over time and slow down the aging process externally, over and above all the nutrients that I talk about, all the supplements I talk about, avoiding ultraviolet light, all the important things. This is the one additional nutrient the skin needs that can only be delivered topically. So I talk about the exact form of HA that works clinically in the wrinkle-free zone. It's an important nutrient.
Where do you get this compound?
Certain salons and spas and plastic surgeon clinics across the country, but if they contact us, we can find someone in their neighborhood that has it.
Okay, let's go now to Adele on line 2. Hello, Adele, you're on the line.
Hi, I'm wondering about artificial sweeteners. I had breast cancer 13 years ago, and I have quite a sweet tooth, so I have a fair amount of NutraSweet and other sweeteners in my diet, and I'm wondering if they can have a bad effect.
Big controversy.
Well, there's a lot of controversy here, Adele, but I'm going to tell you my take on it, and other experts may disagree with me. But if you have a sweet tooth, and you feed that sweet tooth with refined sugar, and it drives your insulin levels up, the chances are, if there's a cancer cell hiding somewhere else in your body, it's going to stimulate the growth of it, because insulin has a growth effect on cancerous tissue. So if that book by Barry Sears was very popular called The Zone. I don't agree with everything he says in the book, but I do agree with this. If your insulin levels are high and you're eating too many refined sugars and sugary substances, and your insulin levels go up, it's going to promote cancer. And I agree with that. Now, the other side is, well, if you use artificial sweeteners instead, are they potentially carcinogenic? And, I look very closely at this because I have some NutraSweet in my own diet to try to keep my body fat down, because when your body fat goes up, it increases your insulin levels and it increases risk of degenerative diseases. So I'm trying to keep my body fat down. I believe using some things like aspartame and sucralose in modest amounts is okay, and I'll tell you why I think it's okay. Because the groups who use the most of this stuff would be diabetics, right? Because they can't use sugar, so they use artificial sweeteners. In the diabetic population, they use more of these artificial sweeteners than anybody else on the planet. So then, since you've introduced these artificial sweeteners, if something adverse was going to show up, this population would be showing some new health condition as a result. And they're not. You're not seeing diabetics relying on artificial sweeteners showing up and their left leg falls off or their right ear becomes gangrene. You're not seeing some terrible side effect from it as far as I can see. Some experimental evidence says that aspartame can produce some damage to brain cells by its conversion into a certain toxic substance, but there's no real evidence yet that it's doing serious damage. I think you can use some of it. That's my answer.
Dr. Meschino, I'm going to have you back. We're out of time for today. And again, your website's been up, so people should know how to get a hold of you or your book. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Christine.
When we come back, your health on the line. Stay tuned.